Hello, my name is Tom and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through my 2021 wrap-up. Yes, I know, this will be the last video about last year. One of the bookish things that I did last year before starting this channel was that I started up a StoryGraph account. I had to start right from scratch because I've never had a Goodreads or anything. I have been recording my reading on paper for a while. So I transferred all of my information across, and it was nice because it's given me some really good statistics and some nice graphs. However, I record on my phone, so I can't have my phone in front of me, and I don't know how to do fancy screen catches from my laptop to show you these wonderful graphs. So I've done the old man thing, and I've written it down. So let's get going. In 2021, I read 35 books, which I am really happy with. And that comes to a total of 11,841 pages. When I compare that to last year, when I read 19 books, I'm really happy that I've raised that number a bit. It means that I'm getting through my own TBR faster. I can start clearing books off there, which means that I can move on to newer books that I also want to read. And that adds to my total of 66 books, or 23,635 pages, that I have read since I started tracking my reading a couple of years ago. So I'm really happy with how that number's growing as well. In addition to those 35 books, those 11,841 pages, I have 5 DNFs as well, which I think is a reasonable number. I don't want to be sat there trying to read a book that I really don't want to be reading anymore when I have so many other books that I want to read. Now, I did note that 60% of the books that I read in 2021 were less than 300 pages. And that's very typical of my reading. I prefer shorter books. I love it when I can go into a story, be in a world, experience that, and then it's over, if that makes any sense. I also like to see what authors do when they have a limited amount of time in order to build a world. I find that very interesting. The shortest book that I read was Wasp's Nest by Agatha Christie. That was just 19 pages long. I borrowed that one from the library. And the longest book that I read was Needful Things by Stephen King, which was 790 pages. My top genres for 2021 were fantasy, horror and thriller. No surprise at all. For fantasy I read 14 books, for horror I read 7 books, and for thriller I read 4 books. Obviously, doing this through StoryGraph, things will have multiple genres, so I expect a number of the books that I read fit all of those categories. But my top types, my top age groups for reading in 2021 were YA, classics, and then middle grade. I read 11 YA books, which is typical of how I used to read more so. I don't read as much YA now, coming into 2022. I read 7 classics. I did make an effort to read extra classics last year, but that's more than I thought, and 4 middle grade books. I do read and own quite a few middle grade books. My best reading month was April, in which I read 2,006 pages. That is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I have no idea how I managed it. Probably audiobooks. But yeah, I am super happy with that. And in contrast, my worst reading month was July, where I read only 160 pages. However, I remember July, I remember that book, and it was one that I really enjoyed. It was Elevation by Stephen King. And my most read author of 2021 that you might have picked up on was Stephen King. This is because I took part in an Instagram reading challenge last year. what was it called? It was Read King 2021, I think. And that was set up by Nicole Reads King. I didn't want to make a separate video on it because I didn't actually complete all of the prompts, but it did cause me to read 4 Stephen King books, but also DNF 3 Stephen King books. And based on what I've read from him before, I now have a decent idea that Stephen King is 50-50 hit or miss with me. So I'm not going to strive to read all of his books or anything, because at one point I thought I would like to try that. I don't think that's for me anymore. But I know that I don't absolutely hate everything that he's written, which is good. Okay, that's all of the statistics that are important to me. That's everything that I wrote down for 2021. And I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about my targets for 2022. I do set a book goal, but that isn't really the super important thing for me. The 3 things that I would like to do are 1. Complete the Buzzword Reading Challenge again. I say again, I still technically haven't finished last year's. I'm still reading the December book at the moment. It's taking me quite a while, but I really enjoyed it last year. It was good for helping me pick books off my TBR that I wouldn't otherwise have picked up. I have made a few videos on this channel about that, so I'll put those in the description. And I'm really looking forward to taking part in it again in 2022. My second target is to read more non-fiction. In 2021 I read 4 non-fiction books. In 2022 I'm aiming to double that to 8. And the reason that I am focusing on this is because I have quite a large collection of non-fiction books, and a lot of those I haven't read yet. It's something that I enjoy reading, but I don't always find time for it. But now it's in my target, so hopefully I will get a few more of those read. And my last specific target is that I want to finish some series. I have a page in my reading journal that is the series that I have on the go, and on that page I have 8 series. I am fairly sure that I am reading more than 8 series at the moment. However, I don't have those tracked. So my target is to finish 2 of those 8 series in 2022. That is probably the most ambitious target on that list, and that's why it's at the bottom. I'm not going to be annoyed with myself if I don't do that, but that is something that I would like to get done. So I have set a Goodreads challenge for 2022. I have set it to 36 books, so one more book than I read last year, which comes to about 3 books a month. And I've also set a page goal. The page goal is really more important to me, and the page goal that I've set is 12,000 pages. Have I been saying words throughout this whole video instead of pages? Ugh. My target is 12,000 pages, which equates to 33 pages a day. That does concern me a little bit, because I don't necessarily read every day, and when I sit down for a reading session, it's normally in the region of 20 pages that I end up reading. So that in itself is a target that, rather than sitting down and just reading a few chapters, I would like to get into the habit of spending a good amount of time at once reading. I do think that that will help improve my reading speed, because I am not a very quick reader, and also help me get through books and experience stories quicker, because I do find that if I'm reading a book slowly, I don't take in the story as much. I forget bits. So that's why I'm hoping to do that. Okay, that was a nice quick video, hopefully, once I've come to edit this down. But that's everything that I have to talk to you about. If you would like to follow me on StoryGraph, I'll try and put some sort of link in the description. I'm not quite sure how to do that. If you have any thoughts or comments on any of my reading goals or my reading achievements from last year, please let me know. And that's everything from me today. See you again soon.